Hey guys, Boris here, bringing you another VOD review. Week 1 of the regionals has completed, and congratulations to all the players who made it to the week 2, securing themselves a spot into the pro circuit for the upcoming set. We are going to be jumping in game here with Rety, and at the moment the dynamic is that this is the final game of the day 2, and he needs to secure a 3rd or a 4th place finish in order for him to advance to the week 2, and also hope that a couple of other players do not score a 1st or a 2nd, one of them being, for example, Ki-yoon, and I believe the same goes for Malala. Now, as you might have already noted, we are playing in the Rise encounter, an encounter that every competitive player dreads when it comes to these kind of final lobbies, as you do want the most amount of agency as you can get. Now, we have been dropped a Emilio, therefore we can already check our Ishtal quest. Now, alternating here is going to be quite hard. Nico surviving, we cannot complete that. We do not have a Nico, we're not going to be digging for a Nico. Rerolling is going to be quite late, therefore if we are playing a standard Ishtal line, we would have to be going for alternating here and trying to find a way to pull it off, perhaps level to 5 and hope to pew into a weaker player, but this is extreme high risk and could ruin our game right away here if we were hoping to go for that game plan. Instead, we seem to have already slammed the Ishtal emblem here onto the Ashe and unlocking Tryndamere for ourselves. And if we were generally to be playing Ishtal into this possible reroll line, which is more likely to happen through our being offered potentially a reroll augment, we could be grabbing the reroll 8 times. Otherwise, we could just grab this and hope for extra resources later on if we are not opting to go for this Tryndamere reroll. Now, given that we have a quick striker emblem, also Warden emblem, notable thing is that since Warden emblem synergizes with any kind of shield champions, it is quite good in Sejuani. And therefore we're going to be grabbing the reroll quest and coming up in our augment. The Ruin King does not play in our gameplay, we cannot take it. We don't even have the Viegos right now and would not synergize with our emblems apart from the quick striker. Warden, it would be a potential, but we do not have the spot for it at all. We don't have to unlock the Yorick, cannot go for it. Heroic grab bag would be decent for a reroll land, but since we are unlocking this Tryndamere, Stars Are Born here extremely appealing, perhaps providing this extra tempo. And if we are going to be opting to play for this Tryndamere plan, also we have the dupe that we can keep in mind. It's going to provide us the tempo and hopefully start stacking as soon as we can. High voltage would be an AP line. We are not exactly considering playing for that, and worth of weight would lead us into potentially playing for a different kind of a line. Do not want to be tempering around a random unit right now. Able to pick up a Kiana too as well to pair with the Tryndamere on the Slayers. Hopefully we have a lack of frontline since we do not have any kind of frontline unit right now. We're having the Zenzao pair but going to give up on that to make 10. And we queue into a player that is full open. Now, win is a win, but we would generally wanting to be starting to stack this Tryndamere as fast as we can, if we are opting to go for that kind of line. Now, I'm not sure if we're going to be locked into it, and generally if you look at these components, it's like, these emblems, Tryndamere is not the first thing that strikes your mind, since obviously the line was around and the variation to be playing around Ishtal did exist. However, for this line to even top 4, you're generally looking for something that juices this board up. That being artifacts, something like Mittens, Rapid Fire Cannon, and having this extreme amount of tempo. Now, Stars Are Born is the greatest way to go for it, and we also find another copy of Tryndamere right now. We're also holding onto this Garen, which we high rolled for a potential. If we do get the Sejuani, it could be quite good. We are not mandatory to be playing this Ishtal right away. Once we find an eco, we can just toss that back in and complete our rerolls then. We are not heavily looking to be capitalizing on the Ishtal quest since all the reroll quests got nerfed. We can just use it as a little bit of an extra juice. Now, also, if even with the opener given, this was not the first line that would have struck my mind to be playing. However, the Ishtal quest options pretty much seal it for us that we are playing in some form of reroll, and without a reroll augment, we cannot really be going into the standard Ishtal reroll, which would perhaps be even more volatile. And our slam is a even shroud, which we obviously had to make. Something you would wanting to be saving this this cloak obviously for QSS, which we quicked up the cloak for right away. However, we value this tempo as much as we can, and we can see that we leveled aggressively even to secure in the previous round the potential to win. And now we queue into a Ripple Overdrive's Juggernaut Mundo too. So already everyone in this lobby is playing extremely aggressively. Find this Nico so we can give up on this Milio, make some of our gold back. And another thing to note is that this was a econ start, meaning that generally the players who hit units that is high value units that could synergize with their emblems are going to be having very high tempo, as you cannot find extra power through the items built on synergistic units. We only had the one item option, ours was an even shroud. Therefore, it was a hard overall spot. However, we managed to secure a 4 streak through picking this Stars Are Born and having the synergy built in around the emblem. Going to be dropped double rod now. One rod obviously become a Rage Blade, but we need to find some form of bows. Do get a Swain, but how would this Swain exactly fit on our board at the moment? This is not a standard way to play. Do get a Lucky Reforge. We managed to find this Rage Blade. And I was hoping he was not making that last Whisper right there. We have the Even Shroud already. Cannot forget that. Going to be giving this an open glove is generally going to be quite good for us right away. Now again, another strong board here from David Ace coming in. Even without little upgrades, we are just simply lacking in that frontline power right away. Now, 1 buff, 2 buff is not exactly what we would be looking for. Red buff would be quite good, but the blue buff is not the best of Ashe's items, and obviously not for Tryndamere. Generally, Bronze for Life is very good in this comp. However, since we have that Warden emblem, I believe his thinking is that we are going to be playing for some kind of 5 failure variation, most likely here. Therefore, we are not going to be picking the Bronze for Life, since this is going to be 5 failure. Otherwise, on the standard Ishtal, Tryndamere board Bronze for Life is very good here. At least it was once when he gave durability, synergizing with Tryndamere. But armor magic resist to augment has become a little bit weaker. Indecision would make us play in low tempo for the upcoming stage. However, he might be looking for the potential just to be getting extra gold, but Invested is not appealing. It's a weaker augment in itself. A Luxury Subscription, we have no way to slit in these 5 costs, so now we just have to be taking Indecision and hoping to potentially dig for a stronger augment. Maybe his thought process is that we want a strong combat augment, and Bronze for Life would have been one of the better hits we could have gotten. However, if we are playing around the 5 Larior, then that is not going to provide us as much value as we wish, and he has the Bromid Planner, so most likely we are definitely playing, and already have decided to be playing around the 5 Freljord in order to get a Warden in through that way. Which obviously would be the most natural. Simply finding a Brom on level 6 might be kind of difficult. Now, we have not completed our reroll quest through natural rerolls. That is a thing to note. It does count as free rerolls. Now, losing 3 in a row would again sacrifice our tempo. We cannot afford it. Kiana, we're not itemizing her to secure this. You can get stuck on this quest quite easily. Therefore, going to go for 15 enemy kills, which we hopefully should be able to secure. We rolled a little bit and able to find a Loris too. Great read to be playing potentially around this Loris. We also checked our Piltover mod before there, but I don't think we found the Blast Shields, which would have been perhaps the only reasonable take to be considering at this spot at the moment. Otherwise, keeping this Ishtalan is going to be providing a lot more value. Now, securing kills here is going to be quite hard. We already see that there's a Rift Herald Kaisa from Babzera. Again, the lobby tempo is extremely high. Everyone's putting the maximum amount of pressure they can, and we see that there's a Braum with a bow, but it's going to be snatched right away by Ego Illusions. Now, again, securing kills with being a Prismatic Augment down is going to be a little bit off the tempo, but that was simply the best choice we had to offer, so it's a very tough spot to be navigating at the moment. And we have not really been naturaling our units, so we opted to dig a little bit deeper here. Still only sitting on a couple of copies of Tryndamere found and 4 Ashes found, naturally remembering that we had this Stars Are Born. Again, queuing into the Ripple Overdrive, who's full streaking, has MF2 on 3-5. Yeah, that is not exactly what we would be looking for if we wanted to make a kill quest. Ripple Overdrive absolutely running out of his game now. Coming up here, win out. No, thank you, we cannot do that. Band of Thieves, it's going to be delayed, and it's going to be delayed even in coming into stage 4, which is when we absolutely must be spiking. We cannot be taking this augment as an option, therefore we would have to be defaulting Tiny but Deadly. However, we have this Rage Blade scaling already, and we are running really... This is duo carry camp that can both benefit from attack speed. If we have this Rage Blade, would not be the most satisfied to be taking this pick. Jeweled Lotus could definitely go into that. We have an open glove. Do not make an IE here, then we're completely fine to be having running Jeweled Lotus and making a crit item. That synergizes here, and there's probably a better option. Tiny but Deadly. Trade 3, we could just be completely screwed about this emblems. Would be great for some other spots, but if we are committed to this comp already so deeply, unfortunately we cannot be considering it. Otherwise, trade 3, I'm surprised how this augment can show up in this encounter. Radio Delis could provide us with a little bit extra juice, but we would be again flipping. We cannot use any of the AP items in this comp. Therefore, we're not capitalizing it. Part of the Radiant item is the tempo, early tempo it provides. We have sacked some of the stage, therefore we want to find a way how we can maximally spike coming up on this next stage to secure placements. Able to find some of our units right now. Find this Braum, which is immense for us, but finally also find a single Sejuani that we can be playing. Now, yeah, as mentioned, the Sejuani holds the Warden emblem extremely well since she has the innate ability, innate synergy with the shields. Able to pick up Sejuani too. Going to be digging aggressively here as we want to be spiking. One Tryndamere away. We find the Tryndamere 3. A little bit took us a little bit of an extra goal that we had to go for, but this is going to have to suffice. Also, slam the Gunblade. Slamming, but you need to be slamming everything in order to be able to spike right away. This comp is not going to contesting these high cap level fast 9 boards that we can see already. Ripple Overdrive is going to be cruising there. Rubber Bahu also from a prime spot to be able to cruise to the max level. And we see, and we want to be securing wins. The only way we can do that is by taking any of these rounds and getting our scaling going, especially since we lost some of the rounds in stage 3. Our Ashe Tryndamere are not as high on the scaling list. Therefore, this augment is also going to be coming into play here, what we can pick. Little buddies, we cannot do that in this day. At the moment, Precision Upgrade has been downgraded, but it can troll the Tryndamere, but perhaps has to be the only option as right now, as best friends would not allow us to position out around our Freljord statues as well, and generally it's an AP meta. Therefore, the armor is going to have a little bit less of lost value. Last second save is something that could provide a little bit extra durability, both to our frontline, since we are not close to a 3-star frontliner yet, and it's going to be very hard for us to hit one. Spears would provide us with an extra item, but we cannot use the Shojin right away. Therefore, I would be tossing in here between last second save and precision upgrades. Let's see how much Retry values the extra reroll on this augment. I'm not sure what exactly we would be looking to chase. Celestial Blessing would provide some of them, but we have the Gunblade. Therefore, we're just going to be last second save, provide the durability for our frontline and for the Tryndamere itself. Now, unfortunately, the reroll quest comes in now. Again, the price we had to pay for taking that kill quest and queuing into very strong players. We probably would have to take... I would assume we have to cash out here, because buy is not going to complete it in one turn. Losing 4, we just cannot do it. That's not our game plan. So we just have to take a little bit extra cash. Hopefully rebound our econ, and we do get the econ, so we are getting a little bit up there, but still have not found our units, and we are level 640 still. We are going to opt to go for aggressive levels, just showing how much he values trying to secure these kills while some players are sacking. But we are going into the Wukong 2 with the Warden and Defender emblem. Even with just those emblems, he's going to be quite strong from the Malala heal. Thankfully, their Ari only has a single JG. Now, a pause is coming in, as we can see. Well, I'm covering it here, but Ego at the moment seems to have 400 ping, so let's skip ahead for when we are back in the game. A little bit of a lengthy pause there, but thankfully everything got sorted out. Definitely do not want to be playing on 400 ping into this final lobby, and wanted to call the pause as swift as possible. So we bought the XP, no sorry, we cashed out. Now, for our option here, we have leveled to 7 already, therefore buying skills is quite low. And can we get offered this lose player combats in a row? Since we have committed items, our only option is to be having no items on the bench. Going to be completing that coming into the neutrals, and hopefully can find something else. So we're going to again keep aggressively digging here. Now, were we digging for this Wayne? I'm not sure. Like, any form of Arcanist would have sufficed. Perhaps but who would our 5th Freljord unit be? I don't think Lysandra would have been the... Well, perhaps we were looking for either of those. That's my only guess. Able to secure a win against the Bebzera here. This last second save coming in clutch, keeping our front line alive and able to stall through. Now, for our items, we will generally be looking to somehow complete an Ashe items. We have transitioned this Gunblade to the Tryndamere to give him work as a pseudo BT. Going to take another bow. Ashe loves those bows items. Hopefully we can complete some form of a Kraken. However, we completed 2 cloaks, so that's quite a gamble at the moment. Finally find the Sunder. So yes, we were digging for this 5th unit, as well as we are obviously trying to dig for the Sejuani tree. That is our only way to be capping, and there are a couple. Milala is rerolling in this lobby as well and taking out all the 3 costs, so hopefully that can provide us a little bit of hope. However, they are on 1 life. The Tryndamere gets on the weak side again, as usual with the Tryndamere board. You want to be attacking the weak side, eliminating the units, and this allows us to secure a win here against Ripple, who's sacking. Milala gets taken out, so that is not the greatest of the news for us. Well, it is for the spot of the tournament. Milala and Kiyun being the ones who could contest us, going 8 and 7, so now we're definitely wanting to secure a 3rd of the 4. However, a lot of 3 costs just get returned to the pool, and we're sitting here only in 4 copies of Sejuani. That is not the greatest of the news for us. Again, managed to get the weak side for this Tryndamere, which is good. We're also noting, since we have a defensive augment and we have this Gunblade for him, we're keeping it in damage amp position. Has generally been agreed to be the better of the spots. Very close fight, but the Tryndamere are able to stall the Kalista for long enough for Ashe to be finishing off. Now, for this quest, Digital Champion reaching, we have Digital Armor on Brom, we're not moving that. Starting combat 0 gold, again, not going to be great. Cashing out here wouldn't offer us much, so I guess we're just taking and have full bench and just trying to hopefully fill it up with 1 cost. Going to be tanking our recon a little bit, but the extra little bit of gold. We have the lives to be sacrificing to hopefully be able to secure a little bit of an extra gold here. So, going to complete a... We have to complete this red buff. Yeah, obviously we want some form of anti-heal, so that was that bow, but on the Reforge we were not lucky enough to be hitting a other form of a item, especially with a tier. Not much can be completed. Perhaps something like a Hodge would have been an option, but that was not offered to us, so we have to go with a blue buff Ashe. Not the strongest of the items here, but 3 items is 3 items, I suppose. Tossing the board, the losing around here, and now we're also, yeah, we're flexing the roll down here to be for also a Nico 3 as a potential out. Obviously doing this on level 7 nodes as the Sejuani is what we're exactly looking for. Still opting to roll aggressively in case we do get close to that Nico 3. We could just opt to send it. Again, we know that this comp is not going to be winning many rounds from here on out, as it's generally just received too many nerfs, and the buffs to Ashe have not made it fully up, and we have been lacking a little bit on the stacking side. Now we're just opting to sell it. We're 1 away from all. Find a Nico 3. Are we stopping here? Going to transition items. I mean, we're hoping that maybe stopping here is going to enable us to go to the next level and slot in perhaps an Arcanist or an Invoker. Not much else that we could realistically be considering slotting in here. And we're going to unlock in Italy. That is an option that we could obviously be tossing on level 8. Able to win a round here, which is crucial as we are at least a few lives now. Oh, we have a option for a Freljord emblem. But perhaps we're going to... There's not really... Yes, we're going to be grabbing that. Did not see any other better Ashe items to be offered. Now, have to commit perhaps another remover here. Yes, we do. Now, the Warden emblem I would assume has... Well, this is the tricky bit. We're not going to get another remover, so if we're going to probably not be holding on to this option for a rolling for this Sejuani 3 right away into a Shadow Isles Fast 9 board. Flamingo Illusions just simply do not have the juice at the moment to be able to break through their front line. This is the thing with this comp, it simply does not win the stalls. Going to cash out our Rishtal as we are dropping pretty much close to a couple of one life if we take a bad loss like that again. Get a full item, but we do not have a remover to be committing, so just going to improve our Ashe items. Therefore, just have to take this Protector's Vow to toss onto the Sejuani. Again, we are on the opposite side. This is sometimes flippy with these matchups. And it seems like we're going to be taking a loss here to this Rise Ziggs board, but thankfully it's enough for us to live And we're hoping that, yeah, so one of the players is going to go out and Ripple Overdrive gets knocked out. We have secured a top 4, and this hopefully is a big sigh of relief for Rety, as I think at this point he should, well, most likely not realizing in game, but he should have secured himself a spot into the pro circuit. Just going to most likely here. We have the Kraken. We're not going to even go for the Kraken. We obviously just want to be going to look. Okay, we're just going to complete a 3rd tank item, get the Sejuani online. But I don't think we're going to be winning against this Slayer's board from Rety. They simply have too much meat for our Tryndamere to get through. Our Tryndamere also gets stuck on the Aatrox revive, and we are just getting to get mowed down as this Ashe is not able to do so much with the blue buff. But a great way of seeing how, even with a weaker board, sometimes you can be securing good placements. And if this was a ladder game, there's most likely going to be a few weaker players where you can steal some rounds and secure even better placements. Key things to note: the roll timings, when to roll aggressively, not just sitting above 50 gold. Playing for maximum tempo in the early game in order to get this comp stacking and try to secure at a head, and not being afraid to sacrifice resources at the opportunistic times to try to maintain as big of an HP lead and hope for it his opponents are going to bleed out. I would like to thank you for watching, and I hope that you learned something new. And again, congratulations to all the players who made it to the pro circuit, and I wish to see you in the next one. Have a good one.